Ayo! Welcome to episode 13 of Create This Book by Mariah Elizabeth and Ashleigh Monet. That would be me. Okay, I have a little bit of news for you guys. So recently I invested in myself and my channel, and I have some new recording equipment. I was gifted some new editing equipment, and I am trying out a new editing software. That's a lot of change, and I am trying to learn everything at the speed of light. It's not happening. I'm still using a lot of the old stuff right now, just because there is a learning curve on all this new stuff. And if I'm trying to learn it at the pace that I would need to still release my videos at the same time that I normally would, it's just gonna be a disaster. So coming up here, I do have episodes that I am working on. I am working on the drawing what my subscribers suggest. I'm working on the next Create This Book, but I'm trying to do those with all of my new stuff. So I want to give everybody fair warning that my schedule is going to be jacked up coming up. I can't tell you what days I'm going to be posting because I just don't know how long it's going to take me to adjust to all this new stuff. But I do want you guys all to know that it is all in the works. I'm not like blowing any of these videos off. I'm just trying to make everything better. Better quality videos, hopefully make the editing process easier, more streamlined, so that I have more time for other things, for how about creating art? So I appreciate you guys being extra patient with me as I kind of navigate this little hiccup in my channel. I'm so type A that I really appreciate the schedule, and it's hurting me as much as it's hurting you not to stick to it. But anyways, today's video, nothing new to report. We have 4 prompts to tackle this week. So enough of me talking. Let's jump right in and see what I can create. Alrighty, first prompt of the week. Create nostalgia. Make this page sentimental. Oh, if there's anything I get nostalgic for, it's the toys that I grew up with in the 90s and 2000s. I think I'd like to devote this page to a few of my favorites. I'm gonna start with a pretty pink background for the page and cover up the little bow prompt doodle. There's nothing really wrong with it. I just honestly need the space for what I'm gonna draw. So the first toy that shaped me as a person was the Easy Bake Oven. Oh, I loved my Easy Bake Oven. My sister and I, we would just sit around making the crappiest little cakes in the sanitary kitchen that was our messy bedroom. But it was so fun, and hey, core memory there. Next up, the Furby. The robotic speaking toy that I've heard was supposed to be a hybrid of owl and hamster. I don't know. I got a Furby for my 8th birthday and I was so excited. I talked to it all of the time, but I think mine was defective because he never learned to speak. Although maybe that was for the best. I have heard some horror stories about the creepy things that they would say. Now this little lady was Betty Spaghetti. Now, I don't think she was as much of a popular phenomenon. Like, there are definitely people within my generation who know nothing about her and look at me like I'm crazy when I talk about her. Well, in a world of Barbies and Polly Pockets, which, hey, I enjoyed both of those as well, what made Betty Spaghetti special was how unspecial she was. Like, what did Betty Spaghetti do? The answer, not a damn thing. She had bendy arms and legs, and that was it. But still, that was enough to keep me entertained. Like, I loved my Betty Spaghetti. Oh, this one was excellent. Light Bright. The light up box where you stuck in these little multicolored pegs into a dot grid to create pictures and words, and the pegs would illuminate with the light of the box. They're still around. Phoebe actually has one, but they've made some considerable safety upgrades. Like, the little pegs are no longer sharp and pointy, and now the boxes don't reach 1,000 degrees. I may have sustained a burn or two from my Light Bright back in the day. Okay, this one was probably my absolute favorite. Doodle Bear. This obviously appealed to the artist in me, but it was a little raggedy looking bear made of this like denim-ish type material. And he came with markers to doodle all over him. Then he was washable, so in theory, you could just wash him and keep doodling over and over and over. I don't recall ever washing mine, but whatever. I remember having my doodle bear. I remember loving him. All right, this last one I had to include because it is just so absolutely ridiculous that they were even a thing, but oh, they were. Hit clips. A portable little playing device with one headphone, yep, just one, who needs to hear out of both ears? And you would insert this thick little plastic chip into the player, press a button, and it would play a very low quality, like 30-second clip from one of your favorite songs. Yeah, not even the whole song, just a clip. And if you wanted to listen to a different song, you had to buy another little chip. In my mind, they were way overpriced, like $10 for the player and $1 for each song clip. But I Googled it, and the players were actually $20, and each song clip was $4. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I owe my mom an apology on this one. Like, I can't believe I got her to spend money on that. I drew in sync on my clip because the two songs I vividly remember having were Bye 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 from NSYNC and Oops, I Did It Again from Britney Spears. Now time to bust out the micron and add some fine line details to all of these. And then we can add in all of the luscious colors with some alcohol markers. Let's add some details with a little colored pencil. Ooh yeah! And now, it's juicy highlight time! Now I can cut all of these out and glue them in the book. And here it is all finished! I love this page. Boy, what a walk down memory lane. To torture the millennial cliche, we really were the last generation that lived our childhood offline, and man, it was just so much more fun. Okay, prompt number 2. Create an advertisement. Draw an ad for a product, real or made up. This prompt immediately made me think of the advertising flyers with the little tear-off contact info that you might see attached to a telephone pole. So I wanted to do one of those. First, though, on this side, I decided to use acrylic to paint a little telephone pole landscape. I wanted it to be kind of creepy, kind of gloomy, so I started with a dark gray, cloudy sky. Then I added some little mountain ranges. And some little evergreen trees. The trick with these is to make the trees and mountains get larger and darker as you move into the foreground. And now let's add the telephone poles. Now, I doubt this scene would ever occur in the real world. Like, surely all of those trees around would be a hazard for the power lines, right? I don't know. This is all coming from my imagination, so it works fine there. Now I want this one pole really close up. This is the one that the flyer is going to be posted on. Now, since it's close, it needs a little more detail, so I'm going to add in a little brown. Now on this side, it's going to be a close-up of the phone pole. So I'm just kind of painting like a very basic wood texture using black and brown. It's going to be mostly covered, so I'm not getting too crazy with it. Ugh, but I got careless and totally got paint beyond my washi tape without realizing it. Yeah, as you can imagine, I was a little ticked off when I pull the tape and see these. They look like skid marks, but whatever. Now I can add the flyer to the landscape side of the painting. It's gonna look dingy and dirty like it's been there for a while. And let's go in with some white to cover up my little mistakes over here. Micron time. I used it to add in the phone lines and to draw in the details of the flyer. You can't see what it is yet, okay? Be patient. I decided to make this little prompt doodle look similar, And if at this point you're thinking to yourself, what kind of psycho would hang an advertisement in the middle of nowhere like this? Well, let's jump over to our advertisement and that might clear it up. The service this flyer is advertising would be lessons in taxidermy. Ew, what? And yes, the contact is Norman Bates of Hitchcock's Psycho. The number's actually for a motel called the Bates Motel. Please don't prank call them, that'd be rude. For the visual aspect of this advertisement, I went with a couple of taxidermy tools and an owl, since those were like Norman's main taxidermy subjects, before he moved on to, well, you know. Added a little bit of color to the flyer, and then I did a tan watercolor wash over everything to make it look good and aged and distressed. Now I gotta snip all of these little contact tabs, and now we can glue the flyer to the post. Oh, I love the texture this is giving. I actually just love this page. I think it's a fun little idea. Luckily, there haven't been any takers on Norman's ad, right? I don't know, maybe I'd do it. I'd be curious to see what goes into it. I don't know though, it is kind of creepy. Moving on to the next prompt. Create instructions. Write up detailed instructions for a very simple everyday task. Include diagrams if necessary.
Examples: how to eat a bowl of cereal, how to make the bed.
Now, I wasn't stoked on this prompt. Just like, why? No one's going to learn how to do a simple everyday task from this prompt. It's just a waste of time. It's going to be something we all know how to do. But nay, then I realized there was something super basic that I didn't learn the proper technique for until I was an adult and went to beauty school. And that is how to wash your hair. I know, basic, but you honestly might be doing it wrong. Keep watching. First, we have to shampoo. The first step is to get your hair really wet. Yeah, that's not wet enough. It needs to be dripping. Do not squeeze out the excess moisture. We need that water to lather the shampoo so it evenly disperses. You don't need a whole goo gob of shampoo, usually just a dab will do, but be sure to really rub it in your hands and break down the emollients. The reason you don't need much is because shampoo should only be applied to your scalp, not your ends. This is because the unpleasant oil and dirt buildup happens at the scalp. Pulling the shampoo through your ends will strip them of the moisture they need to stay silky. Just gently massage the shampoo, focusing only on the scalp, and then when you rinse, the shampoo will kind of naturally trickle down the ends lightly. This is more than enough to cleanse your ends. Now rinse thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, with warm water. The warm water is going to open up the hair follicle so it's ready to absorb as much of your conditioner as possible. Now for the conditioner, the steps are basically the exact opposite. So first, you need to remove all of that excess moisture from your hair. With conditioner, the water in your hair will just dilute the products, which means no silky smooth hair for you. Don't aggressively wring out your hair, just gently squeeze it as dry as possible. Now, the amount of conditioner you use will depend on your hair length. Just make sure to break it down in your hands again, just like the shampoo. And this time, we only apply it to the mids and ends of your hair. Again, the ends need the moisture to stay silky, and the scalp is where all the oils are produced, so you don't need more oil on your scalp. That's a surefire way to have greasy hair on day 2 after washing. Try to coat every strand of hair with the conditioner. It helps to kind of comb it through if you have long hair. You can use a wide tooth comb or even your fingers. Now, the biggest thing for conditioner is to leave it on. Don't just turn around and rinse immediately. Most conditioners are meant to sit on the hair for like 10 minutes to be fully absorbed. Check the label for specific directions, but more time never hurts. She's using a shower cap to cover her hair, but personally, I like to put my hair up in a claw clip, and that keeps it up and out of the way while you wash your body, shave, etc. Doing all that gives the conditioner plenty of time to sit. Then you go ahead and rinse, and this time for the best results, use cold water. It won't be much fun, but it'll shut the hair follicle, which makes your hair look smoother, shinier, and less frizzy. But that's it, you're done. Now back to the prompt, and we can write in these steps. First, I'm going to draw a little shampoo bottle. Shampoo. And the highlights for that step were start with wet hair, soaking wet. Apply to scalp only, not the ends. Massage it into the scalp, not too aggressively. And rinse thoroughly with warm water. Really get it out of there. Gosh, my writing always has such a gangster lean on it. Jumping over to the conditioner, same thing. Drew the bottle. Conditioner. Highlights here were to remove the excess moisture from the hair, gently of course. Apply to mids and ends only, stay off that scalp. Comb it through the hair so it coats every strand. Let it sit per the directions or 10 minutes or so, or the whole time you wash your body if you're like me. And finally, rinse with cold water. Now for color, I decided to do watercolor. I just wanted this spread to be kind of loose and sketchy, not super detailed, almost bullet journal-y, if you get that reference. And now to finish off with a couple of juicy highlights. And it's not quite sketchy enough for me, so let's go ahead and add a little more micron. Yes, that's better. And with that, I think I can call this page done. It's simple, but I like the vibe. I think I did all right with a prompt that definitely doesn't seem to be geared so much toward making a real work of art. And hey, maybe you learned something. And that brings us to the fourth and final prompt of the week. Create nonsensical creatures. Draw or assemble made-up creatures. Draw them from imagination or use bits of magazine photos to invent your own creatures. Be sure to name them. So I took inspiration from this little guy here. I thought he looked like a little blueberry, so I wanted to do something with fruit. I brainstormed and decided to merge berries with bugs to make bugberries or berry bugs. Whatever, you get it. I used watercolors on this page too, making the little doodle of blueberry merged with a fly. Next, I did a fire ant merged with a goji berry. And then a bumblebee merged with a blackberry. This one was maybe my favorite, a ladybug merged with a strawberry. For this one, I merged a black widow spider with an acai berry. Somehow forgot the seeds on the strawberry. And for my last little berry bug, I'm doing a rhinoceros beetle merged with a gooseberry. Now, I couldn't really come up with clever names for any of these except the bumblebee. It could be a bumbleberry or a blackberry. Let's add a little fine liner to these and then skip through the colored pencil and juicy highlight finishing touches. Yeah, here are the finished berry bugs. What a fun little concept, and I'm actually really happy with them. Maybe could do without the goji berry ant, but the others, I think they're all pretty neat. And just like that, the week is over. Let's go ahead and recap. We created nostalgia with an array of some of my favorite childhood toys of the 90s and 2000s. So many fond memories here. This definitely gave me serious nostalgia. We created an advertisement, specifically an ad for taxidermy lessons, courtesy of the notorious Norman Bates. Curious whether the person who contacts him will in fact learn the art of taxidermy, or just end up as one of his taxidermy subjects. Eek. We created instructions. I walked you all through how to quote-unquote properly wash your hair. Yes, there is a proper technique. I like the page and I'm hoping it was somewhat informative. You let me know. And lastly, we created Nonsensical Creatures with my slew of little berry bugs, bugberries, whatever you call them. These are awesome. I think they may even be tattoo worthy. Maybe one day. We'll see. And that is it for this week. I had so much fun with these prompts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, thank you for being patient with my upcoming crazy schedule, whatever that may be. And until next time, goodbye.